No, no, not at all. It's been 5 years now, I think. I think I'm on year number five. Yeah, actually, it's 5 years and a couple of months. I met a friend at a bar. Actually, I just met a dude at a bar. I didn't know him at the time.
Hmm.
And we just started chatting, had a couple of beers. Next thing you know, he's like, "Oh, do you ride?" I'm like, "I ride in my car. I don't know what you mean by ride." And I started hanging out with them, and I'm like, "Man, okay, motorcycles seem pretty cool." So I decided to go take the MSF class, the Motorcycle Safety Foundation, a basic rider course. And I'm like, I'm going to take this class. If it scares me, I'm done. But I had a ball. And the MSF instructor even said, it just looks like you're having a great time. I'm like, dude, this is a blast. And I feel grateful that I waited until I turned 50 to start riding because I would have killed myself when I was younger.
Wow.
But yeah, I absolutely fell in love with it. I got the bug real bad.
We actually have a similar story. I just started riding like 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
and
Okay.
I, and
Now,
I'm
what
50.
got you started?
I actually did the course like you did, but I did it 20
Okay.
years ago.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I had two kids. I couldn't, find the time to really get into it. And then once they graduated from high school, I said, I'm going to bite the bullet. And I bought my
Yeah.
first Vulcan S and started riding. So
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
was already, I had, a lot of people say they have the motorcycle endorsement, but they've never
Uh-huh.
rode ever in their life. And that's what I was. I've been carrying
That was me.
the endorsement for like 20 years.
Oh, no, no. I finished the MSF class and I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy a bike. And so I found it was a 2000 and, I don't know, 7 or 8 Honda VTX 1800. And I couldn't ride it home because I didn't know how to ride it home.
Wow.
So I had to get a friend. I said, I need you to bring this bike home. And it was sitting in my garage and I'm staring at it and I'm looking at it and I'm like, man, so I would just ride around behind my house. And then I started venturing out. I got bold. I started riding around the neighborhood and, just kept going farther and farther until I got comfortable enough to get on the roads, on the highways.
Hmm. Wow. I had to put the comments on there. We have a couple people on here that just have joined the podcast. I don't know if any of these, they're probably your fans there. We don't have that many yet. So Ken Grant is
Well,
coming to the
oh, okay.
podcast. You might know him.
Yep, Ken
Joe.
Grant is one of the instructors at Lock and Lean.
Oh,
Stand-up guy. He's one of my mentors. He's been helping me a lot over the last, what's it, 2 years now, I think. It's been a year and a half, 2 years.
awesome. And then there's Joe Go Motorcycle Adventures. I think it's.
Can you kick people off? Are you able to boot them off? Because if
Yes,
we
I
could boot
can. You
Joe
want
off,
me
that'd be fine. Just boot him off. No, I'm just kidding. No,
to?
Joe goes, he's a friend of mine. He's a real good dude.
Oh,
He just
cool.
happens to be my arch enemy. That's all.
And then we got Stephen Kirkland. You might know him
Steve
too.
Kirkland. Maybe it doesn't jump off the
It's got this little
top
button that
of my
says
head.
ban right next to his name. I was kidding.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'd never do that. Anyway, well, I appreciate you coming on to the podcast. I know we're pretty small, and hopefully, that these guys will subscribe to the. I got to, put that in there. Subscribe to the channel. We try to do these interviews as much as we can in the wintertime. We just started like 47 weeks ago.
Okay.
But I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing
No
your
problem.
story.
Mhm.
Joe,
Yeah, no
Joe
problem at all.
Go, sorry, Joe Go said he just came on here to heckle Q.
Okay.
Oh, no.
If you have some deep secrets, just let us know.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I met Joe at one of Robert Simmons' practice sessions a couple of years back, and he tried to kill me. He literally tried to kill me. I didn't even know the guy, and I think he was jealous of my YouTube channel because I had about 100 subscribers at the time, and he didn't have any. And he tried to run into me with his bike, and I'm pretty sure he did it on purpose. But
Wow.
I mean, he's not here to defend himself, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I
Oh,
think it was intentional.
well, since he can't really be on here, we're gonna say it's true. He can't defend himself.
Exactly the way I said it.
Uh, but yeah, that's a pretty cool story. I almost went to Robert Simmons's one of his courses in Columbus, and I was barely riding at that time. I just got the Challenger, and I was like, I'm gonna go up there and do this, and it was kind of cold and chilly, but it's like 5 hours from my house,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was
Okay.
like, The only way I would be able to do it was just trailer it up there, and I just didn't, just didn't do it. But I hope I'll go on his classes one of these days. I heard they're
Yeah, I
pretty
think
good.
training. Yeah, I think training is undervalued by a lot of
Hmm.
riders. Because for me, when starting riding at the age of 50, I wanted to ride, wanted to have fun, but I didn't want to get hurt,
Yeah.
and I didn't know anything about training or classes or anything. I didn't know what to do, so I was watching a variety of different YouTube channels and trying to practice as best I could by myself, which is not the best way to do it. But I eventually got down and started training with Robert Simmons, and I trained with him for a couple of years, and I started getting a lot better very quickly.
Hmm.
Just because of practicing, because it's important to take the class and you learn technique, and then you take that technique that you learn at the class, and then you have to practice. And you practice, 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 and then you take more classes, and then you practice, 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 and I continue to get better. And I met another motor officer through Robert Simmons, and he was watching me. He's like, "Dude, you're really into this. You should consider taking a different class. There's this program called Lock and Lean." And so I started researching Lock and Lean, and man, some of their YouTube videos, I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't ride like those guys." So, but me being the cocky individual that I am, I'm like, I'm going to go for it. So I looked up there. They have 4 or 5 different classes, and so I signed up for one of their classes, and boy, was I humbled in that class, because it was challenging for me because they exposed a lot of the weaknesses in my technique, and so I started focusing on those things, and I'm continuing to get better. And so
Hmm.
I highly encourage people, buy the motorcycle, absolutely, but invest in taking classes, take classes and train and practice, because it makes riding so much more fun. Because now, having been riding for 5 years and with as many classes that I've taken, I can kind of just watch how people ride, and I can tell who's taken training or who's invested in training and
Hmm.
who hasn't. It's so easy, and it's sad because they don't know how to control their bikes, and they have these irrational fears, and then some things that they should be afraid of, they're not. Uh, so now the classes are very important.
Yeah, I think some people just underestimate the power of a motorcycle,
Oh yeah.
especially, riding with, I see it when riding with groups, some of the people that are actually, needs more training,
Hmm.
like the leaning and, that kind of stuff. And it's like, it's scary when you get behind somebody that is not, doesn't have the experience that you do. And you got to watch out for, him and everybody else.
Right.
Normally,
Exactly.
yeah, normally you just want to, watch out for everybody else. Yeah, because you gotta, "Oh, this guy's braking too hard," "Oh my
Hmm.
gosh, I gotta slow down," and it's crazy. So training, I would say, take a class, just get it over with. They're
Absolutely.
normally only like, what, $300? I mean, and they're like 3 to 4 days. Just do
Yeah,
it.
they vary in price. I mean,
Mhm.
and there's so many different options out there. You find something close to you that's going to work for you, and then go for it.